subconsciously happened. I don't know why it was.
You open this door with the key of reason. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of truth. A dimension of freedom. A dimension of joy. You're moving into the land of both the ideal and the real, of the possible and the actual. You've just crossed over into the capitalist corner.
Where reason meets reality, welcome to the capitalist corner.
Up, everybody, welcome to the capitalist corner. Happy, is it Thursday today? I believe it. No, it is Wednesday. Happy, right? Is it Wednesday today, Michael? I'm in Toronto. I'm working, so I'm forgetting what day it is.
Can't you see I'm doing something here, and you're asking me what day it is?
On Thursday, but I wasn't supposed to be here today. However, I am working late today, so I'm here for 45 minutes with you all on the Capitalist Corner. Welcome. I'm the host, Mark Pellegrino, also the chairman of the American Capitalist Party, along with my co-host and vice chair of the American Capitalist Party, Michael Liebowitz, who also has his own show, The Rational Egoist, as you all know, because I advertise it here every time I am on, because I want you all to subscribe and like it and spread it across social media, because it is exactly the kind of ideas that need to go viral, just like this. Wow. So like, subscribe here, also like it on YouTube, etc., etc., etc. Michael, what's going on in the Rational Egoist? I don't want to make you talk too much because I think you're catching a cold, and I don't want you to get us all sick. So
Wouldn't it be? See, I think I've already caught the cold. I'm actually right now in the denial phase of the cold. So Diana's been complaining about a mild sore throat, and I, of course, have been making fun of her and telling her she's faking. And then this morning I woke up with a little something, and I'm saying to myself, you know what, though? It's the change of season. Maybe it's the dry air, the stuffy, the dogs. We have dogs, 5 of them. And I asked Subby, and Subby's got a little tickle in his throat, but he had a litany of excuses. So we're right now, I'm in the denial phase. I'm hoping it's not a cold, but I am going to leave earlier so I can get some Zicam. Mark is recommending Zicam. And for the record, if the Zicam kills me, we know whom to blame.
Everybody except Michael knows the Zicam will not kill you. Also, the colloidal silver will not kill you. It'll actually be healthy benefit for you. It'll catch the cold right in the beginning of the symptoms, and you mitigate those symptoms.
I hope this isn't codswallop.
It's not codswallop, because I had the same thing. I had the same thing that you're getting.
Yeah, but you got full blown sick. So how are you? What do you mean?
No, it lessens the symptoms.
How do you know? See, that's what I don't like. How do you know?
It lessens the symptoms and the duration of the illness. I know because I know everybody else who had the same cold as me who did not use Zicam were sick for weeks.
And so you had some control. So you had some control groups going on.
Exactly. That I was able to measure myself against. I was sick for a couple of days, literally a couple of days.
I remember you whining about this for more than a couple of days, dude.
No, respiratory effects. The respiratory effects were hitting me for a while, but I wasn't symptomatic, and I wasn't spreading things like you're right now.
How do you know you're not spreading? What are you talking about? You're still having respiratory effects.
No, I had respiratory effects because sometimes that junk in this is going to be gross, but sometimes the junk in your lungs lingers there for a while, long after you're not sick anymore.
What is this junk of which you speak? I need some
lung butter. The actual term is called lung butter.
So anyways, I got a great Grok story. I'll tell you about in a minute. Yeah, I got some great stuff coming up on the Rational Egoist. I got the interview with Nico's coming out. I got an interview with Catherine Dickerson. Tonight I'm interviewing Andy Bernstein and Megan Ribbons on education. Tomorrow I'm interviewing Kaya Willis. Jim Valliant and I are starting a series using OPAR as a self-help guide. It's just all kinds of great stuff going on. And we got the Self-Made Soul. And I gave you some, what did I do?
I gave you an article. Psychologizing. Yeah. Yes, you did. So we're going to be dealing with, pardon?
No, I want to tell you, we're going to be dealing with it. No, go ahead.
So, we're going to be dealing with that essay written by Ayn Rand, The Psychology of Psychologizing, on the Self-Made Soul, which will be at its usual time, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern on Saturdays. I look forward to rereading that. It's been a long time since I've reviewed it. One of the great things that I love about that show, Michael, is not only do I think we provide great value for people who need structure in their life, philosophical structure in their life, that objectivism can add to their life, but it also forces me to reread Nathaniel Branden and reread Ayn Rand again, which I haven't done in years. and it sort of reinforces values in my own mind and my own heart, and that gives me further strength to become better. Look, before we say anything else, I have to do our disclaimer. This show is not affiliated with the American Capitalist Party, folks. We are just two dudes talking about the news from a capitalist perspective, from our own individual perspectives. You'll see we disagree quite often, even though we are the chairman and vice chair of the American Capitalist Party. But if you want to know what the actual values of the American Capitalist Party are, please go to americancapitalistparty.org, read the platform, and join up, be a part of the change if you're sick of the tribalism today. Do you have anything else to say, Michael, before we get on with this first?
Can I tell you about my experience with Grok yesterday? This is hilarious. Okay, so some background. So Liquid Zulu put out a video criticizing Dave Smith. It's a 3.5-hour video. And I got to say, I'm a little less than halfway through, and I find his criticisms of Dave very on point. Very, very good job of criticizing Dave. Now, there's some things that I disagree with Zulu on, as I've debated him, I don't know, 6 times now. But anyway, in the video, he mentions Rothbard's trilemma. Rothbard's trilemma is either you own yourself, everybody owns some people, or some people own other people. And, so I made a post and I said, this leaves out another possibility. And that is that no one owns anyone. And that's what he has to justify. So a lot of the anarcho-capitalists came in and I'm arguing with them. So then I submitted my argument to Grok on my, in private. And I said, Grok, is my argument sound? And Grok said yes, and it explained why. It went through all this thing. So now I go back onto the stream on X and I ask the same question. A little sneaky on my part because I checked first, right? But I wasn't thinking about it in terms of sneaky. But anyway, so I go in and I ask it on X where everyone can see. Grok, is my argument sound? Grok comes back and says no. And now Grok proceeded to argue with me for an hour, delving deep into the well, giving me some of the best arguments for Rothbardian self-ownership I've seen. Certainly better than those I've seen from ANCAPs. But now it's like chess for me, so I'm having fun. I'm arguing with Grok, going back and forth, yes, but this, yes, but this. Diana, of course, is getting very aggravated with me because she wants me to spend time with her, and I'm arguing with a machine. So finally, it ends up, it just keeps repeating itself. So I challenge it, it repeats the thing it said before. I challenge again, it repeats the same thing before. So I said to it, why do you keep repeating yourself? Have you just run out of Rothbardian, Hoppian talking points? And it didn't answer anymore. So now
you hurt its feelings.
So now, hold on. I go into the private Grok chat and I say, hey, listen, how come when I asked you in private, you said my argument was sound, but then in public, you argued me for an hour? And it says, well, when you ask me in private is one thing, but when you ask me in public, I have to play devil's advocate in order to spur the conversation. I mean, what is this? What the hell is this?
Ian Gilmore says, Grok says Trump won the 2020 election. Don't trust Grok. Grok is sort of becoming my go-to in some ways. I'm asking
Grok to me is a lead. It's not proof. It's a lead. It can give you sites. It can tell you places to go. But this was fun. I got to tell you, the arguments that I was having with Grok yesterday were fantastic. They're available. Anyone can go see.
Apparently, I'm going to be mediating this debate between you and James Valliant.
Well, I offered the job to Robert Nacer, but I'm thinking maybe both of you would be good.
Both Robert and I.
Yeah, that's what both of you means. It means Robert and you.
But why?
Both of you doesn't mean Robert and Persephone.
Why are you afraid of just me? Do you think Robert's going to be on your side? I'm going to be on James'
No,
side.
but let's be honest. For one thing, you're not a very objective moderator, as we proved already. And two, you take so much vacation time. I don't know when you're going to be here. You weren't even going to be here today. I get notification at the last minute. Yeah, vacation time.
What do you think? I'm fucking around here in Toronto? I'm not on vacation.
No one knows. Where's the evidence that
who vacations in a place that's 27 degrees?
I want the proof. Where's the proof that you're actually acting all this time? There's no show yet.
There's Toronto right out there, right outside my window.
So you're on vacation in Toronto. What's that mean?
Okay, did the announcement from Entertainment Weekly at all that I was cast in this show
Now I'm
matter?
supposed to trust the mainstream media?
Okay, look at you, Grok. Let me ask you a question: Has Mark Pellegrino been cast in Vought Rising, and is he working presently in Toronto? Let's see what it says. Now I don't trust I don't trust Grok either if it said that Trump won the 2020 election. Apparently, according to Race, Grok was re-educated by Elon to say what he wants it to say. Really?
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. I've also been told that Grok is programmed to be biased and to agree with the person that's talking to it. But, I submit all my debates to Grok and say, Grok, analyze who won on logic, accuracy.
Every time it says that you lose.
No, it
So,
doesn't do. It doesn't say every time I won or every
especially-
time I lose. Every debate I've had with you, it says I won. Yes.
It says you lose.
No,
But actually, the last one, it was like, you got an 8, I got a 7. It was like, it was an edge out. It said it's almost even, but.
Wait a second. If a basketball team wins 125 to 123, you don't say they won, but
125. First of all, I don't know if I can even keep up with you because I have no microphone here. So you could probably overtalk me, as some folks can. So I'm not going to get into an argument where we overtalk one another because I'm going to get on the losing end of that, and we have to deal with news.
we
There's
do.
so-
You're
so far
what's the
we've
word
been
I'm looking
talking
for?
about you.
I don't know.
Okay. So, no, because I'm looking at these chats right now that Persephone put up, and I was going to deal with them, but I'm not going to. I want to deal first with this Reason article that you sent me, which hopefully you can post. The 50-year mortgage, is it completely fine or a total flop? Now, for some of you who don't know, Trump is floating the idea of creating the 50-year mortgage. This was floated. The 30-year mortgage was floated by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and to make housing more affordable to people. And now Trump wants to carry it even further, be more Rooseveltian in his governance by floating the 50-year mortgage. In addition to this, though, Michael, he also wants to enhance the gravitas of his tariffs in the minds of the American people by giving everybody a $2,000 from the tariff revenues, I guess. These are both bribes, I guess, to the American people for his shit economic policies. Now, first of all, what do you think of this concept of a 50-year mortgage that, of course, will be supported by the monopolies of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? What do you think about this whole idea of the government fixing mortgages or in any way interfering with the way in which mortgages are purchased or the way banks loan money for housing? What do you think of all that? To me, it's bunk. But
this is my answer from Bonnie Bertrand. Why is Trump even touching mortgages?
Thank you very much.
As you read this article, they're like, well, the 50-year might be better. They don't. Blah, blah, blah. Why is the government underwriting mortgages? Why is the government involved in any of this crap? This is all. What now? What?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
As an aside, I got 3 things in the headlines. Candace Owens lost jobs, ending the shutdown, and you start with the mortgages when we're on a short leash here. But yeah, I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that the government is involved in this stuff at all. Fannie and Freddie, I mean, we remember how well that turned out in 2008, but capitalism, of course, gets the blame. And given that Sir Donald, the magnificent orange, whatever the hell he is behind this, capitalism will get the blame if something goes wrong again. Why not just leave it up to the market, leave it up to people when they're negotiating with banks or whomever they get the money? Maybe they're getting the money from Rosie Ginsburg. If they go to Rosie and Rosie wants to give them a 20-year loan, let Rosie give them a 20-year loan. It's not the government's business.
So there is a way for the government to deal with the housing crisis right now. From a capitalist perspective, there is a way for the government to deal with this housing crisis. And I think it's from the supply side. And that is to encourage the states and the local and local governments to stop regulating in the way that they are, to cut all the bureaucratic red tape. I say all, so that but of course, we would have to scale it down to stop the stupid zoning laws that prevent building It's the restraints on exchange and trade and the market that have created the housing crisis as we know it today. If local and state governments were simply to remove those at the behest and encouragement of the federal government, then housing would be affordable. Entrepreneurs would fill the vacuum because the prices are high. That would put a downward pressure on the prices because the supply would be rising relative to demand. Isn't that a good thing? Michael, that's never the solution these politicians offered us. They offer these Band-Aid solutions that give them more power and make them appear like they're solving problems that they themselves created in the first place.
So Ann M says, build single family homes. Do you want to tackle that or do you want me to tackle it?
You go ahead.
I don't like even making suggestions like that. I feel like individuals negotiating in markets should determine what gets built. If people want single family homes, then that's what should be built. If they want 5-family homes, then build that. If they want skyscrapers that have 30 floors, that's what should be built. I don't think that the government or anybody outside of the relationship that is contributing to building should have any say in this at all.
Yeah, Michael, I mean, in a free market, all kinds of homes would be built. And we're not just talking about single family homes where a person just reproduces their idea of what a great value would be and to the most possible people. I mean, like you said, individuals deciding on their own could have micro homes. Have you seen those things? People like these teeny little homes that they live in. They actually enjoy that stuff. Some of them are built in between buildings, and they actually like that stuff. They want to live there. Big homes, little homes, single family homes, multifamily homes, duplexes. The whole thing would be open, folks, for the market, and you would be the ultimate decider of what kind of home you lived in. That's what capitalism is all about. Free choice for everyone, buyer and seller, across the board. And the government does nothing about that unless, of course, somebody's initiating force against somebody else. So let's just say the government has no place in the housing market. We've seen what they have done when they interfere with the prices of housing. We saw what happened with Freddie and Fannie years ago when they bought up all those toxic loans. We saw what it incentivized in the banking industry and how despicable and corrupt it was. And we saw what it did to the rest of us who owned homes and how it literally crashed the values of our homes overnight. So get the government out of it. They can't do anything. They can barely defend us well enough, let alone spreading themselves so thin as to point their guns at all of our neighbors and request that they supply us with goods and services, which we have not
So
earned. Yeah.
Ann M says it's single family home growth that's being stymied. Well, actually, in a lot of places, that's not true because it's the NIMBYs in suburbia who don't want multiple family homes being built because they're afraid of the type of people it's going to attract into their neighborhoods. They don't want duplexes. Brian Kaplan has suggested, building upwards rather than, side to side, but they don't want that. So it's not just single family homes that are being stymied. All right.
They don't want that, Michael. They don't want that, Michael, because it'll obstruct their view.
Thank you for wagging the finger. I needed that. I have this weak feeling. You know that weak feeling you get when you're coming down with something?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I have. I hate it.
Yeah, well, you got to take your Zycam right away. By the way, Jim Valliant says Mark is the platonic ideal of objectivity and fairness.
Yeah, he said that 20 minutes ago. Why are you going back to that? Can we get to the next story? One of the ones that I've got.
I wanted to remind you that James has very good taste. Look, I love this article, by the way, from the Daily Economy, Economics of Gratitude. What New Yorkers forgot about prosperity. Why are you doing that? You wanted something else. Why are you doing that?
Persephone, I'm going to bring you on for a second. Persephone, why am I doing that?
Either the chat or because you wanted to talk. There's 3 articles in the headline.
Yeah, I just got done telling you about the articles in the headline to get to first, and you nodded to me, and then you said, I love this article in the Daily Economy.
It was Candace Owens, and then I didn't hear anything else because it was all blurred out.
Did you not look at the title of the episode when you shared from YouTube to your...
No.
Oh my goodness!
Don't ask that of me, Persephone. Don't ask of me to
Listen,
look at the title.
Look, I love the article too. We can do it, but then
let's do your thing, and then we'll get to this article. But the reason I like this article a lot, Michael, is because it inspired me to get the full collection of Bastiat's work. So now I have a 1,000-page tome coming my way. I have the law, of course, at my house, but it quotes Bastiat so much in this article that it's brilliant, and I wanted to quote him word for word, just if anything, to give New Yorkers the middle finger, because it's so good. But let's go to the articles that are mentioned in the thumbnail. So that
now you made me the bad guy.
So no, we have to give people what they're expecting. So
yes,
you start off.
No, you're the guy. You made the announcement at the beginning. I'm the host, Mark Pellegrino. Do Candace Owens. Do Candace.
Okay, let me find Candace Owens. Now you're going to make me actually try to find Candace on my crazy phone. What you're going to have to do it because it's going to take me forever because the way it showed up on my oh, here it is. Candace Owens can't. Is this the one? Can't present. Okay. So, folks, any of you who think Candace Owens is a serious contender for accurate and true reportage, I think you might have another thing coming. Candace Owens can't present serious evidence her Charlie Kirk assassination theories. For those theories, I guess she was interviewed on CNN. CNN's been doing actually a couple of good interviews I've seen recently where they really challenge people, not just somebody like Candace Owens, who is a sort of figurehead for the alt-right now, but actually people on the left. I've heard them really press them on issues, and I thought, wow, maybe they're getting the message finally that nobody thinks they're a credible news source, and they're starting to try to push back against that by looking, at least looking objective. So apparently she had this. You talk a little bit about the interview while I find some more of the aspects of it.
So Candace Owens, and this is all over social media. From what I've seen, and I don't watch her show, but from what I've seen, it appears that she's hinted, and that's what she does often is she hints. She doesn't come out and say things. She hints at it. And she's been hinting that there was this conspiracy to kill Charlie Kirk. Ultimately it's the Jews. Of course, the Jews are involved in everything, but also that his wife was involved. They're involved in a cover up or something. And
oh my God.
So Candace, of course, is denying this and saying it's not true, that's not what she meant. They have clips, whatever. So they were talking to her about, she's claiming that these messages between Tyler Robinson, the shooter, and Tyler Robinson's boyfriend, where she's claiming that these are not authentic. She turns around, Candace says, Discord, I asked Discord, and Discord has no record of these messages. Well, it turns out they weren't claimed to be on Discord. They were text messages. So the woman that was interviewing caught her out cold on that. Of course, Candace doesn't care. I mean, she's either batshit crazy or she's the biggest grifter going, maybe a combo. But the author of the article makes the point that I've been making for some time now, to a much smaller audience than what he's talking to. But just because the mainstream media is bad doesn't mean the Candace Owens of the world are good. The Candace Owens is the Tucker Carlson. I put Dave Smith, Clint Russell, all into that group.
The Nick Fuentes of the world. Yeah. Some of these people accurately called out the establishment media because they were clearly biased. And then it became so glaringly apparent to everyone that they were biased, particularly when these alternative news sources started showing up and pointing these inconsistencies out. Yeah. But now we've gone full circle, my friend. Now, some of these alternative sources are off their nut, literally, and seem to be gaining followers the more insane they get. Michael, just to sort of highlight this, I just saw a tweet from the Joe Rogan podcast where they said, who would you like Joe Rogan to interview next? Periodically, they put out those feelers. Who do you think was the number one guy everybody wants to see on the number one podcast in the fucking world right now?
Nick Fuentes.
Yes. Nick fucking Fuentes.
That would be my guess, yeah. And Rogan likely will interview him.
Unfucking believable to give that guy a voice.
So I'm going to text you this, Mark, because I want you to see this. There's a lot of these funny things online. There's this guy that makes fun of Tucker. He does the best Tucker impression. He's a comedian. But check out.
Ari. Is it Ari?
It might be, but check out this thing right now. It's like a mockery of Tucker. I'll read it out here. So it has Tucker's picture, and it says, as if it's Tucker saying this, Humpty Dumpty. We all know the tragic story. Hold on. Humpty Dumpty. We all know the tragic story. He sat on a wall. He fell. Or did he? And why was everyone so quick to reach that conclusion? My next guest, a historian, took a second look at the incident, and what he discovered will have you asking questions about Israel.
That is funny. That's very funny. I am actually going to retweet that and favorite that because that sounds like
Next time this other guy comes across my feed where he does the Tucker Carlson voice and laugh and everything, I'm going to send that to you too.
Deeper with Diego says questions without any existential context are irrational noise. That should be the title of Candace Owens' new biography, Irrational Noise, and maybe that we could also apply that to Tucker Carlson. So what's the next story on the thumbnail? Because I love that. Both of those folks, including Candace.
The lost jobs, the October lost jobs story.
Okay, go ahead. Talk about it.
You've got it.
No. The way it came forward, I'm telling you, the way it texted to me, it's impossible to actually. It's hard to explain. But
Mark. I am literally looking at your text feed to find the articles because
you are
sent
looking
them
at
to
my text,
you.
but it doesn't look the same as it does on your text feed. I'm telling you right now.
The top story. What's the top story in your text feed? The one at the top. It's underneath the last text you sent me. What's the story?
That's not the way it comes up on my thing.
Of course it does.
No. You're not understanding. The way it came. Hold on. The way it came up on my text. Hold on. I have to get back to it. Look, I'm going to show you, Michael. It came up like this. So there's just a bunch of undifferentiated things with the titles at the bottom. So it's impossible to see what is what. That's the way it came up on my feed for the first time ever. Only one article showed itself, and that was China's 981 project, Dark Connections Behind the Quest for Longevity. I don't even know why you even showed me that article. It's interesting, but Epic Times typically going after China because it's Chinese dissidents who own the Epic Times. So I have the Daily Economy, Reason, but no titles attached.
All right.
Epic Times, Reason Magazine, Hill. Okay. So you're going to have to find.
So this is a story from Reuters. U.S. lost jobs through late October. New private sector data shows. Washington, November 11th, U.S. firms were shedding more than 1,000 jobs a week through late October. Payroll processor ADP said on Tuesday in its latest real-time estimate of job market trends. So this is a private company that's saying that lives were lost, that jobs were lost. Nobody's saying. Diego says, if an employer fires me, I lost the job. It was never my job. Diego, we know what the hell we're talking about. People that were employed are no longer employed. I don't know how you want to say it.
And it's largely because of government.
If you want to come up with a better way to say it, but I got to say, I am a very big semantics guy, but it was never my job to begin with. It's a little weak. You're a great guy, but that's a little weak. And you've got the cactuses.
But certainly, Diego, I want you to call him out on every verbal vagary. Like anytime his language isn't exactly precise, please do call him out.
Good luck with that.
Go ahead, Michael. Continue.
By the way,
the Reuters article I got when I called this up was deal to end U.S. shutdown to also allow some Republican senators to probe.
It's true because what happened. It's true. What did I say now? Oh, I forgot to send you this article, actually. So it wouldn't have mattered.
But you've been busting my balls for 10 minutes for no reason at all.
It was not 10 minutes. Anyways, the people are losing jobs. And, when the government said that the job numbers weren't good, Trump fired somebody. This is a private organization. So what are we going to surmise? Is there really lull in job creation? Are people really not working? Where's this heading for the economy? Will Trump ever admit it? I ultimately don't know the answers to this. All I know is if that there was numbers in October showed 500,000 new jobs, Trump would be everywhere taking credit.
Yes.
So if jobs are lost, then what? Can he take the blame? I'm not even saying it's his fault. I'm just saying when you're going to take credit for all the good, you have to take blame for the bad. It reminds me of God. Everything that good happens, they say, thank God. Well, wait a second. If this guy's in control of everything, then if I get hit by a bus, why doesn't he catch the blame for that?
Indeed. Indeed, yeah. Well, Michael, I think you can answer that question. You said, I don't know. Yet, first of all, will he take the credit or blame? No, he will not. He will continue to deny because we know he's a primacy of consciousness guy. Evidence doesn't matter to him. What matters is his feelings, and what matters is how he looks to other people. That's the main thing that matters to President Trump. Are his policies primarily the cause of a lot of this economic dislocation? Yes. How can we say that? Because he's taking almost exclusive control of the economy. He has robbed the legislature of its taxing power to put the country through the ringer with tariffs and a trade war with even our own allies, with everybody out there in an attempt to consolidate manufacturing here in the United States. He's alienating us economically from the rest of the world. And with these other policies that he seems to be coming out with, unilaterally, by the way, he's continuously interfering with the price and supply with the pricing process and with the supply chain. So yes, he is to blame for everything that is happening. I think more than any other president in history, because he's trying to take so much centralized control of the economy and doing such a bad job of it.
Hold on one second. So Deeper with Diego has a serious problem, and I think it might be Deeper with Diego. Do you have a accent? Because your voice to text stuff it's enough to drive me batty. So I don't know what's happening there. Let us know. Break it down for us. We need to know, inquiring minds.
Why?
We're gonna have we might have super chats soon. By the way.
Yes, we're gonna have super chats soon. But why did you say that to Deeper with Diego? What did he do to you?
He didn't do it to me.
What did he say?
Oh, hold on. He says, "Oh, don't misunderstand me, Mike. I'm not taking you guys. I was doing the thing where I was arguing against other people who say that. Taking you guys, I don't know." And he says, "Is my employer fires me, I lost the job."
That's true.
Is my employer?
Okay, so so there's typos and stuff in there, but now you're busting his balls over.
No, this happens all the time. I actually read his chats.
So he's typing and he's not editing. Just exactly what I do. I type.
No, dude, if you read the conversation, you would see that he was previously discussing with Chandler how bad his voice to texting is. And so I'm surmising that he may have an accent, may be the cause. I'm interacting with the people in the chat.
I see what you're saying. Yes. Well, my voice to text has even worse errors than that, and I don't have an accent as far as I know.
So just now he asked, he agreed with me. He said, no, Mike is asking about voice to text, but where it says Mike, it's MIC. You see?
Well, when I say Mike, and I mean like microphone, like in front of you, it says it goes MIKE. So there you go.
What does that prove?
It just proves that voice to texting sucks. It's not perfected yet.
That's the point.
You need time. Yeah, but it's easier to do that than it is to type, right? Mike, since you have control of
I don't even know what I'm doing at this point. What is happening?
Since you have
were you drinking? I hope this isn't a result of the Zycam.
I'm not sick. I'm tired, but I'm not sick.
No, but maybe something went a little awry from the Zycam.
That's entirely possible.
All right, ending the shutdown. That's the next thing, and then we can get to the gratitude story, which I absolutely loved. So,
bye.
as part of the shutdown being ended, and I like the Chinese story, by the way, but
Well, I mean, okay, me
but
too.
as part of the ending, there's these senators who can now sue because they were investigated as part of the January 6, 2021, the whole affair with trying to overturn the election. As part of the investigation, these people's phone records were looked into, and they want to now make it so that you can't look into senators' records or phone records unless, you give them notice or some such thing. And I'm thinking, why the hell are they special? Like, why
Correct.
do they need notification? Who the hell are they? People get investigated and the government listens to their phones. If you want to get rid of that, then make that argument. But why the hell is it just senators? They're exempt. They're above the fray. I mean, they could do things that nobody else can. No,
Yes,
screw that.
They're exempt from their own legislation. They're exempt from the legislation they put on the rest of us, and of course, that is wrong. Also, I think if you hold public office, everything that you do with respect to that office should be transparent, should be immediately made available to the people you serve.
Even their phone calls, put them online.
Yeah, I mean that should be one of the. It's not a perk. It's a perk to the American people. Full transparency.
When you just said perk, I immediately thought of Percocet.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but don't you think that they owe us?
Yes, I do.
Full transparency. And
yes.
We shouldn't have to go through a bunch of rigmarole, nor should the taxpayer have to pay them $500,000 for the fact that there were investigations launched against them for their own shady behavior.
Yeah. And by the way, like, they weren't convicted or anything. It's part of an investigation where it seemed they were involved. So now, what happened here? Katie Ellis is recommending to Diego that he enunciate better. Have you ever seen Bugsy?
Bugsy?
Yeah, the movie Bugsy.
Yeah.
When he's trying to learn, he says, you have to learn to properly enunciate. And he says, 20 dwarves took turns doing handstands on the carpet. And he repeats that over and over again.
20 dwarves.
Yes. So I have this thing I do when I'm around people that are stoned. I repeat that incessantly, and it drives them crazy. They don't know what the hell I'm talking about. It's a really
You're
phenomenal
actually
thing.
inducing bad trips in people who are high. That's scary, Michael.
Excuse me. I literally saw you look at my girlfriend and tell her that the waiting staff at a restaurant knew she was stoned.
That's right. I did. I forgot about that. Totally inside baseball, man. Nobody's going to know what we're talking about.
But that was awesome. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I did try to make her paranoid. And I think it worked.
It did. She said, really? Yes, really. The waiting staff knows you took gummies. Yes.
I do fuck with people who are stoned. I apologize for that. It's my for coming out. We don't have a lot of time, so I do want to deal with the economics of gratitude and what New Yorkers forgot about prosperity. Michael, while I search for some of these great Basquiat quotes, I think you should talk a little bit about this because I think it's true. I think the New Yorkers who overwhelmingly elected this democratic socialist to office have forgotten a lot. Not only have they forgotten, they probably never even knew what economics means or how things are produced, but they don't understand, Michael, that on their own, without this production, without this class of folks which they resent and want to tax the shit out of and exploit, they would have infinitely less resources than they have now. The fact that they have these kinds of things are blessings. And it was Basquiat coming into the city of Paris who recognized all of the people within that city relied upon an enormous influx of resources that were taken care of by people who cared to make those resources their values. And these people could go home at night, rest comfortably in their bed. This is 1845, so that's relative, of course. America was probably much better at the time. But they could rest comfortably in their bed, not wanting for these resources that came in, which these folks in New York seem to think happens by an act of nature.
People think that the TVs, when I talk, that's so awesome that it just completely blocks you out. This is great. This is the setup we need from now on. But you're right. People tend to have an idea that Everything is just here, right? Computers, microphones, ball caps, mustaches, whatever. It's all just here. But the article opens up with a great quote, and the article is by Barry Brownstein, by the way. And he opens up the article. He said, "If I were to sum up the mindset of New Yorkers who elected Zohran Mamdani as mayor of New York City, it would be, we want something for nothing and we want the rich to pay for it. Instead, they will get nothing for something and they will pay for it with a degraded quality of life." How freaking awesome is that?
That's amazing. And I
Amazing.
certainly hope that does happen. I really want people to learn the lesson firsthand. And sometimes people can only learn that lesson from firsthand experience, that capitalism is actually a good thing, and to stop exploiting it, ruining it, pushing it out, but to embrace it. And they will discover that if Mamdani gets his way. His politics, Mike, is not beneficent. He has this big glowing smile. It's the smile of a wolf underneath the sheep's clothing. There's nothing beneficent about what this guy wants. It's completely and totally nihilistic and malevolent in my point of view. There's also something that that Bastiat says here. It is impossible not to be struck by the disproportion, truly incommensurable, that exists between the satisfaction this man derives from society and the satisfaction that he would provide for himself if he were reduced to his own resources. He goes on to say, "I make bold to say that in one day, he consumes more things than he would produce himself in 10 centuries. That's a very, very huge thing to say. And that is a massive nod to the entrepreneurs and the energetic producers out there who create these enormous values. It's not a physical phenomenon that just happens. It's not a spiritual phenomenon that just happens. It's by the will and thoughtfulness of certain people who decide to do that and make that a value for us that we benefit from, Michael.
Yes.
You and I could not have invented the light bulb. We could not have invented the computer, but we benefit.
Well, maybe you couldn't have, but I get your point.
Okay, bad.
I just shared the article to both Facebook and X. This reminds me when he talks about all the benefits, and it reminds me of Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand said there's two benefits that we can get from human relationships: knowledge and trade. And I think that's absolutely correct.
Absolutely. Knowledge and trade and trade and knowledge and all that stuff it makes us bigger. Also, Bastiat goes on to say something great. I have to quote this as well. What makes the phenomenon stranger still is that the same thing holds true for all other men. Every one of the members of society has consumed 1,000,000 times more than he could have produced, yet no one has robbed anyone else. This is not the zero-sum game that Mamdani and Trump and the Democratic Socialists of the world and the Democrats and Republicans in general want you to believe you live in. This is the win-win world, of the trader ethic, the world in which someone gets rich because they create a value you want, and so you exchange with them, and both parties are made better. That is the ethics behind capitalism in action, folks. And the sooner New York understands that, the better. The sooner the world understands that, the better. So we can give up this, well, Michael, 100+ year flirtation with socialism, which should have died on the vine upon birth, but continues to haunt us and parasitize our economies around the world, while at the same time getting away with blaming all of their sins and all of their economic dislocations and impoverishment on capitalism. It's a crazy, crazy twist of events, but you and I know why it happens. I think objectivists know why it happens, because socialism is in line with altruism. Capitalism is in line with rational self-interest, so it's easy to portray socialism as beneficent and capitalism as malevolent, based on what people already assume are the proper ethics in society. Somebody says, today, for the first time in history, the parasites outnumber the producers who support them. They're entering a final feeding frenzy, which will result in the ultimate.
Somebody said it, huh?
A totalitarian state. Oh, Booty Creek, Cheek Freak. Booty Creek Cheek Freak.
I heard that's what they used to call you in high school, Mark. Is that true?
That's not true. It's real.
All right, you got to give the capitalist thought of the day. You got to go. You got to go do something, and I got to get Zycam.
Yeah, I got to go work, and you got to go not be the typhoid Mary of Connecticut. So, yeah, folks. So what we've been talking about today is very important, especially in New York. People think that socialists today take for granted production. They think it just happens. They don't understand how it happens. They just know it happens. They get goods and services from people. And because they live in a zero-sum world, they think those goods and services are provided at their loss, not their gain, but at their loss. And so they try to take control of the political processes so that they could be the ones on top, gaining while other people lose. But we don't live in that kind of situation, folks. It's not the law of the jungle that rules capitalism. It is the law, the trader principle that rules capitalism. Individual rights rules capitalism, and the sacrosanct notion of property rule capitalism. And that's what makes capitalism such an amazing system for us all to live under. Because as Bastiat says, we can consume millions upon millions of resources and not rob anyone. We can get richer without robbing anyone because we are exchanging with people who are simply smarter than us, better than us at things, and we benefit from that, folks. These aren't aristocrats that lord over us. These are people who happen to have greater energies and intelligence than us, who bequeath to us values that we could have never gotten on our own. And we exchange with them to mutual benefit and become better ourselves. That is the world that we want, folks, the aspirational world of capitalism, not the zero-sum world of the statist tribes that are out there today. Michael, what say you about the question of the day?
The question of the day is, should we have one moderator or two moderators for my debate with Jim Valliant? Go to YouTube, to the comments, answer the question, and share the show from YouTube to your social media outlets, folks, please.
Yeah, share, like, please subscribe. The logarithm likes it. Also, if you can, join us for our show.
What likes it?
The algorithm, sorry, not the logarithms. The algorithms. The algorithms like that. And also, join us on Saturday, if you can, for the intersection of psychology and philosophy in our show, Self-Made Soul. Help us to understand and to transmit the idea that philosophy is a great thing in the world. It can really help you improve your life if you apply it. And objectivism is one of those philosophies that is applicable to life. So, folks, tomorrow the show is going to go on, same time, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time. I will be in transit to California, so I will see you on Friday. But Michael will be here taking the helm, doing his usual bang-up job, and probably healed and healthy because he will be taking Zycam, colloidal silver, and he would have knocked this virus out of his system in no time flat. And folks, you have 24 hours, 23 hours actually, to rethink your premises. So happy rethinking until tomorrow. Peace.